Hey, welcome back. Today on my bench I got a Technics stereo integrated amp. It's an SU-Z1 or Z1, depending on how you like to pronounce your Z's or Z's. It's an integrated amp. I bought this off of a Kijiji, local classified ads, and I had a little bit of buyer's remorse after I told the guy I was going to buy this. I'll tell you the story about this. I saw the ad, I liked what I saw, and he was asking a good price, so I offered him to buy it for full price. I didn't even try and talk him down, and agreed to pick it up. I went and picked it up today, and I'm looking at this little thing, and it doesn't look like it's a real powerhouse, does it? It's pretty disappointing, to say the least. I don't know. Maybe I'm just a little bit biased, but anyway, so I went down to his place to pick it up. He was in the city, and I drove in, and I phoned him and told him I was coming, got his address, everything. Knocked on the door when I got there, and he opened the door, and I just got hammered with a cloud of cannabis smoke. It was just like overwhelming and powerful, and the smell was like so strong. And I don't know if you're aware, but cannabis use in Canada is legal. So if you're over 18, you can knock your socks off. But it was just like, wow, it was so strong. But you can even smell it now. It still stinks with cigarette smoke and cannabis. And it's filthy. And you can see there's finger marks all over the buttons. And I'm going to have to give it a good clean, because every time I handle this thing, I just feel like I want to run and wash my hands after. So I'll give it a good cleaning. But stereo integrated amp, SU-Z1. It's a power switch, 2 speakers, bass treble control, and these knobs are dedented. So they're loudness button, 2 tape monitors, and then phono tuner auxiliary inputs. Nothing really special. Volume and balance. It's very, very basic. So after I picked it up, brought it home, I didn't see this till after. I didn't really look at it, but it had a broken speaker terminal. And these are the ones I really don't like, these twist locks. Not a huge fan of these at all. So I don't know if I'll do anything with that. I'll probably just leave it. The back, like, it's just as sparse as the front. It's got 2 courtesy outlets, phono tuner auxiliary, 2 tape loops, and 2 speaker outputs, and that's it. He did say it has only 1 channel working. So let's, there's a screw missing on this side. This side has a screw. So let's pull the lid off, have a look inside, and then we'll wire it in, see what kind of sound it makes. Alright, so let's pull the lid off. See if I can do this one-handed. Quite a bit of staining on the inside from smoke. Yeah, you can still, smoke is bad. You can smell a lot of old stale cigarette smoke. Look at the dirt in this thing. It does have an STK 2028 power amplifier. So if we're missing 1 channel, I'm going to suspect that might be the cause. Hopefully it's not. Look at the dirt on this. Power transformer's encapsulated, it looks like. Small bit going on here. This is probably the phono stage. They use a op amp, 1 chip solution, switches. Everything's filthy. So it's going to have to go get bloated out with my compressor, and we'll have a look at this. Look at this. Buyer's remorse, yeah. Here's the only discrete part. There's 2 transistors. The only discrete parts in the whole thing. I was looking at the schematic the other day. Alright, so I got it back. It looks a little better inside. I don't know if you can see that, but it still stinks like hell. It smells up the whole room. So let's, I got it all connected, speakers, source, I got a tone fed in, let's turn it on. Both channels are working. Just dirty switches, dirty pots. We got both channels. I don't know why he said one channel. A rumbling noise when I turn the loudness on. Auto left channel. Yeah, every pot is dirty. Every switch is dirty. Phono stage. Fairly quiet, I guess. Both meters are working. Lights are out. Okay, so it just needs a good cleaning. It's filthy, and I don't know. We'll see how this. Give it a good cleaning first. Let's do the pots, the switches, and then we'll come back and we'll test the power amplifier out to see what it's doing, if it's distortion or lacking in power or something. And thankfully that STK 2028 is not burned up, because I don't think I can get new ones. I think Chinese knockoffs on eBay. I was thinking maybe, you know what, if this chip was gone, I was thinking of going on eBay and buying a counterfeit chip, putting it in, connecting it in, and testing it, giving it a test and run for its money, see if these Chinese knockoffs are any good or if they're just junk. I'd be interested in doing that. But I'm going to have my hands full here for a while cleaning and stuff, so I'm going to start with taking off the, we're missing nuts on our, somebody's been in here before. There's screws missing. Look at that. Yeah, the screws missing, there's nuts missing. I think somebody tried attempting a service on this. I don't know why, because there's really nothing to do inside here other than change a fuse. The lamps are built right into the meters, so I'll have to disassemble each lamp and each meter and put the lamps right in. But that won't be a problem. And then capacitors is the only other thing that's could go wrong with this. So I'll start by taking it apart, doing some cleaning here. So I decided I'm just going to go for full disassembly, clean it inside and out, because this is filthy. Look at this. This is my paper towel after I did a little bit of this, and it just came out black. So I'm going to go through. It still stinks really bad, but it'll get better. Maybe I'll put it out in the sun. Maybe sun can disinfect and bleach and get rid of the smell. But yeah, I'll keep plugging away here. I'm going to clean all this. I have the main circuit board out, and I'm going to go over cracked solders, you know, filthy this is, and we're going to clean it up. We're going to check caps, and we're going to check everything else, clean the pots. So I'll just plug away here. All right, I think I better give an update before I get too far ahead of myself. Probably already did, but anyways, here's what I've done. I removed the main board. I removed the STK 2028 heatsink, so it gave me lots of room. Went through and I did a full recap on this. Replaced a lot of these with film caps. There's film caps, 5 film caps, and the rest are all audio grade, and then the regulars are in the power supply. I removed the 2 pots and did a deep, cleaning on these with contact cleaner, and then followed it up with F100 deoxit. Now I removed the 8 switches. I still haven't cleaned those yet. I'm going to do that, and then I'm going to make a decision. These ones don't look actually too bad. If they're silver plated, they haven't oxidized at all. Maybe they're not silver plated, maybe they're tin plated. But I'm gonna do a clean on these switches, and I'll put them back on, and then that will pretty much finish this board. Everything's done, except I still have to clean the bottom. I cleaned as much as I could. I got in here with Q-tips and swabs, and did a lot of cleaning. Every time I pulled a cap out, I would clean that area, put it back, and tried to get the board a lot better. And it is much better. It seemed there was a big spill here, right in the middle of the power supply and the power amplifier, and there was all kinds of dust, and it was sticky. It was almost just like a sticky residue. I didn't see any corrosion, but that's good, because it probably got spilt and then maybe dried up before it was powered up again. So usually when you see corrosion, there's some kind of electrolysis involved. Now, this is all done except for the switches. Pots are done. Photo amps been done. Everything's done. So I'll put this aside. I still have to clean the back. Get to that. The nicotine glaze on this was pretty thick, and that's why I wanted to get in such good cleaning, because it just stunk with the old cigarette smoke. So it's a lot better now. Switches. Next I'm going to go on to the meters, and I'm going to open up, replace these lamps. A little lamp in there. See a little blue lamp. And that's going to be my next step. Cleaning the switches, and then put it back together. Pretty much. The old crusty heatsink compound, it was pretty dried up. Alright, so here's one of the meters. Let's open it up. Look at the nicotine glaze on the back of this. This cellophane tape is just filthy. Look at how brown that is. Is that nasty? Just everything in this amplifier was coated with that glaze of nasty nicotine. Let's pull this one off, and we can open it up. This black stuff is interfering with. Look at how it got stained, and that won't even come clean ever again. I don't think I can take it. I took alcohol to the other one and tried cleaning it, and it didn't even come clean. It just stained. But we're in. I'll clean these up before I put them back together. Now these bulbs they used were like a special fuse type bulb. Just gonna bend these up, and then we'll take this bulb out. Now they're glass, and they have a blue tint to them, and they are a little clue here that it's stamped with 8 volts, so that gives us an idea of what to put back in here without measuring the voltage. So I don't have any of those bulbs. These bulbs are probably, I've never seen them on for sale anywhere. Wouldn't know where to look for them. But I do have these bulbs. These bulbs are wired. They have wires. They're a lot thicker in diameter, but they will still work. And what I was worried about, I do have the cartridge style bulbs that look like fuses. I could put one in there, but I don't think I would get the lid cover closed, because there's not much room inside of the cover between the holder and the cover itself. I don't think I would fit. Let me see if I can line this up. See, I think it's almost touching here. You can see it in the window. It is almost touching. So I don't think I would get anything thicker in there. So I'm going to try one of these. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to place this in here. see if I can get this bulb in. Just like that. And that should give me enough room. Let's see if this closes. If it closes, we're good. Yes, it does. Well, we're pressed up against. What am I pressing up against? Something here. No, it's closed. So we're going to work. So I'll just fold these wires down and tack them with a little drop of solder onto the bottom here, just like that, and like that. Let's do that right now. I don't want to blob solder everywhere because just in case I wanted to, somebody in the future has the right bulbs, they could go in and replace them. There, that's soldered in place. It's not straight though. Why isn't it straight? Here we go. Let's try and see what this looks like. There, a little bright here, we can't really see. So it does have a nice little blue tint to it. Can't really tell with the room lights on, but that should be enough to light up the meter. I don't know if you noticed, but this meter has no zero on it. So I can't zero that needle. But we're just going to assemble it, give it a little bit of clean. I don't think there's much dust in here. And the nicotine didn't get into the meter movement, so we're good. So I'll reassemble these, put it back in, put it back on the board, and then we'll reassemble. I'm just about done here. This is the last step. I have the main board finished. Here's the main board. Got all the switches back in. Everything's back to normal. All I gotta do is install the power output IC and the heatsink and put it back in the chassis. So I'm gonna do that next, and then we can start doing some testing on the amplifier itself. So I was just about to assemble, then I started looking at this, and this is filthy with all the dust and everything. I tried cleaning it, but I think it's going to take a trip into the ultrasonic, so I removed it, and we're going to do that right now before I assemble it, because this was pretty nasty. But yeah, it's getting there, slowly getting there. Okay, we're back together again. I hope I got everything, didn't forget anything. I'm pretty sure it's all here. It looks a lot better now that I've cleaned it. I forgot to mention in one of the previous segments that I did replace 25 capacitors, and that's the entire amplifier except for the two main filter caps. 3, possibly 4 of these caps have failed out of the 25. So what is that? That's 10%, 12%, 5%, I don't know. But here I got it connected up to a pair of speakers, and yes they are, and I got a tone fed in, so let's try this out. Got a delay turning on. Got a buzzing noise in the left speaker. I'm wondering if that's my speaker damaged or... Doesn't sound good at all. So let's get a scope and a load on here, and then we'll waveform and see what kind of waveforms we're getting out of this amplifier. If everything's clean or if there's a problem. That's kind of concerning because that speaker never made noise before. Alright, so I've had this turned on for about 20 minutes now, idling, and I'm just checking to make sure everything's 100%. Now I got the speakers replaced with a dummy load. I'm going to do everything off the main set of speakers because the remote speakers here, the one connector is broken, so I'm just going to do everything from the top set. I have 8 ohm dummy load, both channels scoped, and I have voltmeter, RMS voltmeter hooked up to the right channel. And we're going to turn this thing on. It is on, and we're going to see. I'm feeding it a 1000 hertz tone right now, so let's turn it up until we get to clipping. The right channel will be the top trace. Okay, there's our clipping. Back it off just a bit to the point where it's stable right there. Our meters are displaying maybe 30 watts. And we are putting out 17.39 volts RMS. And yeah, that little STK pack gets pretty hot fast. Okay, let's see what the other channel does. Same power output. Should be. They look pretty equal. Let's try this again. So now I'm going to measure the left channel, which is the blue trace. I'm going to get it right at the point of clipping. It should be right about there. And I got 17.42 volts RMS. It's pretty much the same. Everything's the same. Everything looks good. Just going to let this go for a while. It's getting quite hot fast. It's probably not adequate heat sinking on this thing. Let's try a few frequency response tests. I'm going to switch my probes to be more sensitive. Somewhere around there is about 1 watt. Okay, so let's go down in frequency. Okay, 200 hertz, 100, 40, 10. Seems to be holding pretty good. It's holding the amplitude pretty good. It's pretty flat on the low end. Let's go up on the high end. That's 2000 hertz. We're at 26 kilohertz. Still pretty flat. 35, yeah, it's doing really well. Let's go up to 20 kilohertz. Let's look at this waveform. Doesn't look too bad. Yeah, sounds good. Okay, I'm going to leave it at that. This dummy load didn't even get a chance to get warm. The heatsink is really hot here, and this is barely warm yet, so it's definitely not built for power. When I get a unit that comes in that's like totally with the cigarette glaze, the smoke, I usually clean the inside too. Look at how filthy this is, and it helps cut down on the smell. It doesn't eliminate it, but I'm sure there are tricks to getting rid of the stink, and I'm sure that if I ask, you guys will tell me some of the tricks that you use to get rid of the cigarette smoke stink. I just give it a good cleaning with glass cleaner, and eventually the smell will go away once you remove the strip off the nicotine. But somebody spray painted this lid. It's got some They spray bombed it. It's got some runs on it. I don't know if you can see here. I'll show you. You see these runs? It's kind of a gloss finish. Some runs. The other side has some too, doesn't it? Yeah, it's got a big run here. If I can get the angle right, you can see it. Well, there you go. I'm done. It's kind of a fun little amplifier to work on. Like I said at the beginning, I had buyer's remorse after I told the guy I would pick it up and buy it. Reason being, I forgot to check out the phono stage. I'll do that later. The reason being is it has an SDK module in it, and I'm not a big fan of SDK modules. I've had other equipment before. I had an Akai amplifier that had an SDK module in it, and I used it for many years. And even though it works, puts out noise and makes noise and sound, it just didn't sound good. It has like a flat sound, and you really don't notice it until after you disconnect yourself from that and put in a nice unit that has a really clear, crisp amplifier, and you can hear the difference between these SDKs and discrete. I can hear it anyway. Maybe this will make me wrong in my assumptions, but I'm still not a big fan of SDKs. Another thing is the build quality. This thing is kind of down for a Technics. I was expecting a little bit more, but it looks like they cut a lot of corners just to save a few pennies here and there. They put the meters in, which is nice, and it's a very simply populated with controls. It doesn't have anything special. It's just got the basics. And it does have 2 tape loops. Yeah, so I'm going to give this a try. I'm going to give it a test drive and see how it sounds. Like I said, maybe it can change my mind. The reason I really got this is because I looked online and there's kind of a little bit of interest for these amplifiers on the in the market. Yeah, that's it for today. Thanks for tuning in, and see you on the next one. Take care.